Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. Yeah.
I'm digging the new intro, man. Shout out to Big Mike, man. I'm digging the new intro. I'm over here like, yeah.
I'm over here dancing like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, these are the moves that got me married right here, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, what's up, Cat?
What's going on, Cat?
Roll Tide, Cat. How are we doing? So got a guest tonight. We got to bring him on quick. He's got stuff to do. Being a family man and all over the place, and being fired up. So not the usual. The man is he's family at this point, right? Yeah. So the one thing I can say, right? He did have a left-handed arm wrestling match with Marvin Constant. His usual, let me beat up on him once a week. So slammed him down. Marvin had to cook his dinner, I think, for a whole week, if I'm not mistaken. So
that was probably Steven still rice.
Yeah. So he still runs things around here. But let's bring on Unc without the chair. So we don't know if the chair got sacrificed.
Where is Don? We need to figure that out first.
But let's bring on Unc. Unc, how we doing, sir?
Guys, first and foremost, man, that intro. Whoa, Mike really stepped his game up with the intro. So
he did.
Don the chair is taking a vacation.
Oh,
so
wow.
We'll be bringing Don the chair back.
What's up, Lady Alpha, as well?
What's going on, Lady Alpha?
Okay. So we'll be bringing the chair back pretty soon here. But today we got the Skyline here.
Okay.
I don't know what city this is. I just like it. So yeah, I don't know what city this is. I like it, but I think the best thing, guys, that could have happened to Alabama are these two losses to Vanderbilt and Tennessee, because it looks like the first loss the Vandy loss was awful. We can all say it was awful.
That hurt.
But I think this Tennessee loss has really slapped this team in the face and woke it up. Monday, hearing Coach DeBoer for the first time, it wasn't that nice, cool, happy, cheery speech. It was, look, when we made the move to come to the SEC, leaving Washington in the Pac-12, we knew it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be tough. But you know what? No excuses. I'm not making any excuses. So hearing DeBoer say that, I'm like, whoa, okay. Okay. Yeah. And so then today, hearing the players talk, it's we got to get back to the little things. We got to get back to communicating right, being responsible, being accountable. This is leaders on down. CJ Dupree, tight end, said, look, those two losses we took were unacceptable. They didn't beat us. We beat us. He said, it ain't Bama when you lose 2 games prior to the month of November. These players are starting to have that understanding. Now it's just put it on the field, right? Take all of that pain, all of that frustration, all of that you're ticked off from losing to put that on the field now, because a third loss, you're not in the playoff.
Yeah.
Right now, you're not only fighting for your playoff life, but you're fighting for a shot to host a playoff game. You're not going to get in those first 4 seeds. That's over. Now you're playing for seeds 5 through 8 to host a playoff game if you're not trying to go on the road to open the playoff up. So this is where Alabama is now. I think the second loss to Tennessee has shaken some people up. It's shaken the coaching staff up a little bit. Now it's how do you take this and apply it to the field?
That's always good to hear. And, you know, as I said, that was kind of what I wanted to hear. It's good to hear that. And that was a question I asked myself when I'm just watching the games, especially this past week in the Tennessee game. Sometimes the camera would go to Milroe after we had went 3 and out or whatever the case may be. And he's just sitting on the sideline, just kind of sulking. And I felt like there were times in the game, and maybe it happened and I just didn't see it on TV, but there are times in the game as a leader, as a captain, you got to go up to your team and pat them on the back, talk to them, say, hey, I made a couple mistakes. We're not clicking. We need to get it together. It's my fault. I take accountability. Let's get it going. But I didn't see that. And again, I'm not saying it didn't happen. Of course, I'm watching on TV, so I only get to see a few things. But to hear what you just said, as far as the team and the coaches realizing that things haven't gone our way the past few weeks, is good to hear. And again, to your point, we just got to see it Saturday when we host Missouri.
I think the main thing, guys, when it comes to Milroe, and there's been rumors out there, he hasn't been 100%, been playing hurt, and I can see that. Of course, nothing has come out to me from the coaching staff.
But it looks like it, right?
Yeah. It just looks like it. I mean, I saw a clip pre-game of Milroe going through warm-ups against Tennessee, and it seemed as though he had a noticeable limp. Once again, nothing was put in the injury report. Nothing was released by the SEC. So we're only going off of speculation and hearsay.
Right.
However, when you look at this whole situation with Milroe, some of this is also Nick Sheridan, right? Yeah. He's got to come out of that booth and get his butt on the field.
Yeah.
He's got to be able to watch this because when you have a quarterback that's been struggling, that's not had the confidence that he needs to have, your offensive coordinator, it's your job to instill that confidence in him in different ways. You may not be playing the game as the OC. You're not on the field. You're not tackling. You're not throwing. But you have a part to play in this too. I go back to, remember 2014 when Blake Sims had any type of problem. Lane Kiffin, look at me. Come over here. Talk to me. What are you seeing? How can we fix this? How can we put this back right? Right? This is on Nick Sheridan. Get on the field. See what Milroe is seeing. Call him over. Bruh, talk to me. What can we do? What plays we have to mix up? Do you want play action here? If the right side of the offensive line is not blocking well, Robbie Oots, go out there in 7-man protection. Chip block. Running back, chip block. Like, Nick Sheridan has to be on the field to see this stuff.
Yep. Why is he up top then, rather than on the side?
He's up top because he wants to have kind of that bird's eye view
of everything.
And I understand that, but at the same time, I feel like this: Bama's got more defensive coaches on the field than offensive coaches anyway. Right. So it would make a bit more sense to have Kane Womack upstairs and bring Sheridan downstairs. Because Sheridan, with this offense, especially with back-to-back weeks, the offense struggled against South Carolina, struggled against Tennessee. You need to have Sheridan on the field.
Yeah. I agree. And even when you see Jalen, like, for me, it was like whenever I would watch Jalen run this past weekend, he never really hit that top speed. Whenever the ball was hyped to him, it was just mid-speed. So a lot of times he's waiting for his blockers. When in the past, he's just going to take off and run and get as many yards as he can. And then that's when Herb and I were communicating. We're like, Milroe, something's not right there. And then some of his passes, a lot of his passes were off, behind the receivers, inaccurate, overthrown, the case may be. So that's when we just kind of said, okay, something may be off a little bit.
It's off. And also, you look at this team so far through 7 games has been overly Jalen Milroe, Ryan Williams reliant.
Man, and this last game was frustrating to watch.
Ryan Williams was targeted 20 times.
Yeah.
That's highly – you don't need that. You do not need – Jalen Milroe had 45 pass attempts. That's not his game whatsoever. That's a problem. When you have 2 running backs, Justice and Jam, and they're not getting the football the way they should, you have a problem. From the Vanderbilt game to right here, you go back to the Vanderbilt game, Diego Pavia, the running back Cedric Alexander, they combined for 42 of Vanderbilt's 54 rush attempts. Justice and Jam combined for 11 rush attempts for Alabama.
Yeah.
South Carolina, I think Rocket Sanders had 16 to 18 carries. Justice and Jam didn't have a whole lot. And against Tennessee, Dylan Sampson had 26 carries for $139.
Right.
Justice and Jam combined for 20 carries. Dylan Sampson had 6 more carries by himself.
Yeah.
Nick Sheridan, you cannot be allergic to running the football. The only way the passing game is going to work in the SEC is if you are disciplined and committed to having balance running the football. Bama does not have an offensive balance right now.
At all.
And if Sheridan is too stubborn to do that, but if you're Kalen DeBoer as the offensive mind, you take over that play calling. Whether it's you taking over, whether it's Coach Jamarcus Shepard taking over, one of y'all two got to take over this if Sheridan is showing a stubbornness to not want to be balanced.
Yep. And we've had that problem before. Lane came in like that. And I feel like Saban said, you go run. And then, he tried to run Derrick Henry into the ground and instead ran him into a Heisman instead. So it's not
that 2015 season, we used Derrick Henry like a horse.
Yeah, like he wanted.
I think it was the Iron Bowl 2015. Henry had 200. Oh, I want to say 240 something rushing. I forget what the number was. Yeah. But it was a large amount of rushing.
But Herb, Raj, the reason behind that though, and the backstory behind that though. Kenyon Drizzy Drake got hurt the year prior, broke his leg against Ole Miss, and you didn't know how healthy he would be coming back. I mean, of course, Damian Harris and Bo Scarborough were both young. They weren't ready. So it had to be Derrick. Derrick had no choice.
Yeah.
Now, something we have heard sticking on the running back thing, though, is there's some rumblings that they're unhappy with their touches. And then maybe with the RPO game, is there anything to that?
There's validity to that. I mean, they're not happy with their touches. Justice Haynes, Jam Miller felt like coming into the season that this would be their year.
I agree.
Especially behind the interior of this offensive line being Parker Brailsford, Tyler Booker, and Jaden Roberts. Those two backs felt like this would be their year, and it hasn't been. And especially when you look at Jam Miller's had the hot hand all season. You got to let that man cook. There are moments in the RPO scheme where Jalen pulls the ball and keeps it himself. Yeah. But if he gives it to Justice or Jam, there's been a wide open hole every time. Yeah. They hit that hole. It's a big play every single time. But Jalen decides to keep it. Yeah. And I understand Jalen healthy has that top speed and you want to see him run and you want to see the athleticism. But at the same time, you can't overly run Jalen.
Right.
You got to get those backs involved as well.
Agreed.
I think that there's got to be a balance to it. There's got to be a fine art to it. And right now, you're overly running Jalen, which gives a defensive team, let's tag him, let's tee off on him.
Yep.
That's when you saw South Carolina with Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart get after him. That's when you saw Tennessee get after him. Alabama, you've got to have a balance.
Yes.
And that also means Jalen's going to take a lot more hits that he doesn't need to be taking.
Yeah.
Too.
And we already know how that turns out in the long run.
Yeah.
You're taking a lot of hits that you don't necessarily need to be taking, especially when you got people, draft pundits now looking at you as still a potential high-round quarterback.
Right. Yeah. Say what's up to Randy real quick.
Randy, thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. Yep. How do we go from the sometimes I think winning the Georgia game was like the worst thing to happen to this Alabama team. Because, I don't know how far off that is, but that's what it feels like. If you lose to Georgia and you beat Vandy and then you beat Tennessee, like you're in a much better place. So
it's weird because you hang on to beat Georgia after you had a horrible second half. It takes a miracle play to Ryan Williams to get you the lead back, and a huge interception by freshman Xavier Brown to win that game.
Yep.
And after that game, Coach DeBoer kind of becomes the toast of the town. He beats Georgia. You beat Kirby Smart. He is the guy. Yay, yay, yay. And then you go out there against Vanderbilt, and you get manhandled. And it's like, whoa, like.
From the beginning, though, like we were clearly not ready to play against Vanderbilt.
You weren't from the beginning. Vandy has an 80-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah.
And you're like, you let the Scrabble of the SEC punk you like that? Like you got the Scripps National Spelling Bee team handed to you, and then you go from that to you barely escape South Carolina, barely escape South Carolina. Like people need to understand, Mike Shula is the offensive analyst at South Carolina. Yep. Mike Shula had not been back in the Tuscaloosa in 2 decades.
Yeah.
And you almost let Mike Shula walk in and take your soul on TV? Like, and then the next week you lose to Tennessee in a game in which, yes, the defense didn't play like world beaters, but the defense forced 3 turnovers.
Yes.
They got off the field on 3rd down. Dylan Sampson only had 35 yards rushing in the first half.
Yep.
And Nico Iamaleava was hitting nobody.
Yeah.
And you couldn't capitalize off that offensively? Like, that's a problem.
We should have took full advantage of that. And that at half, it should have been, and I said it should have been around 21-0 at half.
Yeah.
It should have been 28-0.
Yeah, if I had told you guys that we were going to hold Tennessee scoreless for the whole first half, I mean, you're putting the house on Bama, right? Like that just for all the stuff that we've talked about with the defense. And yeah, there were some plays that Nico could have hit that he didn't, but he didn't. So there.
Yeah,
the offense has to
he didn't hit him
something.
he didn't hit those passes in the first half. But I told Herb, I said, if we keep letting these guys get open, he's going to eventually hit one of them. Third quarter, he finally hits that one deep pass that he's been aiming at, and I knew it was going to happen.
Well, you can't be up 7-0 in that game, Raj. That's basically
right.
To your point.
I agree.
So there was a phantasmagoria of plays, a bizarre look of plays that happened against Tennessee, a bizarre series, if you will. I got that one. There we go. Bam! Yeah. A bizarre series of plays that happened against Tennessee that I wasn't feeling. One of the biggest bizarre ones was where the quarterback sneak happens and you have Germ and Ryan Williams imitating a jump shot.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, this is super weird. Like, what was that? And Nick Sheridan goes, well, we coach that. Come again? You coach that.
It's always bad, Randy.
Yeah.
And so he's gotten a lot. The jump shot's gotten flack. And his answer, there's nothing on the field that we're not coaching.
Yeah.
Is that him just covering for the guys? Like, he can't honestly think.
I think it was him just covering for him.
I really believe this is him. This is Nick Sheridan covering for the guys because there was no sense to have that.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely. Like I have went back and I have watched this play over and over. In my mind, I'm like, what possessed you to do that?
Instead of answering the question, Nick Sheridan could have just absquatulated and just walked away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just walk away. Yeah.
So that was a frustrating one. That was a very, very frustrating. And then it's like you can get away with stuff like that in a win. Maybe it gets swept on the run. You can't get away with that in a loss. Yeah. No. You cannot get away with that in a loss. And I agree, Kat. Yeah.
Of course, everybody's going to talk about the 15 penalties and whatnot. And the 15 penalties were terrible. I'm not making it an excuse for that.
Right.
But that's just fundamentally sound football.
Right.
You play fundamental football. You play alert football. Those penalties do not happen if you play alert football.
Yeah.
If you practice the correct way, those penalties do not happen. So, like I said, this week, I feel like the coaching staff has got a firm understanding of, look, we got to clean this up.
Yeah.
The coaching staff knows it. DeBoer knows it. The players know it. And I'm looking forward to seeing on the field for homecoming this weekend, how do they clean this up? Because like I mentioned, you're not only fighting for your playoff life now, you're fighting to host a playoff game in terms of getting into this 12-team realm here. But what I thought was pretty interesting, what I thought was pretty intriguing, you're not going to have Keon Saab for a while moving forward. Keon Saab, lower leg injury, which has been told to me, broken foot
that he played on, right?
That he played on. Played on. So that kid's a warrior. That kid's a flat warrior. So you're not going to have Saab. He's going to be out for a while. But Brayson Hubbard's the immediate next man up. And Bray is a dog. Bray has been waiting to get on this field. Mm-hmm. This dude's a flat-up athlete from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. The guy can play. I mean, 9 tackles against Tennessee, 5 solo tackles, a team high. Had some big critical stops in the game against Tennessee. This is a big moment for Brayson Hubbard. He is one of those guys that I've been wanting and waiting to see get an opportunity. He's going to get that this weekend. I also have an update on Keon Keeley. He has made a lot of progress, y'all. Yeah. He's made a lot of progress. He is about ready to contribute now. He's been dressing out. He traveled this last road game in Tennessee. He has turned the corner. Keon has turned the corner. It's taken him a minute. People have to remember, under Nick Saban, he was an outside linebacker. That's what he knew. Under Kane Wombeck, he has to learn how to be a bandit, a defensive end. That was a tough transition for Keon. And he's behind 2 other guys, Overton and Latham. So it was a tough transition for Keeley. But these last few weeks, he has started to now finally put it together. He's turned that corner. He's now ready to be impactful.
And sometimes that's what it takes out of a team is sometimes the next man up mentality. And you got guys who have been sitting and waiting their turn and very, very eager and wanting to get on the field. So once they have that opportunity, their energy level is like on 1,000,000 and they're ready to just go out there, get some sacks, tackle somebody, leave it all on the field. So that's exactly what we want to see. So that's good news about Keon Keeley. Good news about Hubbard. Excited. Can't wait for this Saturday.
It is. And they know the sense of urgency is now at an all-time high. Yeah. They know it is. I mean, it should have always been there, but it's like when you lose a game, everything's heightened. Yeah. And then when you lose 2 games, it's like, oh my gosh, what do we have to do?
Like you said, the playoff hopes are on the line now. So
it becomes really, really heightened.
Yeah. Something that we actually talked about last Thursday when we were talking about Georgia, Texas. Randy put it perfectly. Like, you've been waiting to get into the playoff. No, you're in the playoff right now. Yeah. Because if you lose this game, that's it for you. So this is essentially a playoff game. Going to LSU is a playoff game. Like, these are not games.
Oklahoma is a playoff game.
We're gonna be at Oklahoma, so we'll bring that one home for you. But the team's got to handle LSU.
Trust me. For that Iron Bowl, Auburn could not wait. They're not going to wait to spoil our season, regardless of how this season goes.
That's. Sorry, Raj. I'm jumping the gun. You got it. Yeah. So, I'm just saying you're 100% right, Raj. That's their whole season right there. Sorry, I got excited. Go ahead, Raj.
No, that's it. You're right.
Yeah.
I know. There's a question here from Big Mike about the DB injuries and the update on the other guys. So I mentioned Brayson Hubbard is going to get his shot this week. Also, keep your eyes on King Mack, the transfer from Penn State. He's going to get more action. King Mack has been playing in multiple positions.
I did too.
King Mack has been in multiple positions. King Mack has played some Husky. He's played some free safety. King Mack has been in multiple roles this season, so he'll get a lot of play in there. I think this will also enhance Red Morgan's play a bit more. Now, for Red, I think he still needs to put on 10 to 15 pounds this offseason. He's small guy. Okay. It's incredible how he was able to play this year his size. So Red's going to have to put on about 10 to 15 pounds this offseason. But Red, King Mack, Brayson Hubbard, those 3 guys in the defensive backfield, primarily in that safety Husky role with the Keon Sabb out for a while, those guys will have that attention placed on them. But the main one of that 3 is Brayson Hubbard.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And to answer your question, Randy, I'm nervous to play everybody but Mercer, basically. At this point.
I saw the question too, but I was like,
given what
I
our
feel
team
this way
is,
every single game. My feelings haven't changed. I mean, and I told Herb, like, our secondary has kind of been getting beat up and not necessarily, I don't want to say exposed, but been punished, I guess, for years now. People have been attacking the Bama secondary for a long, long time. It's not something that just happened this year. It didn't happen last year. It's been happening. So I feel the same way going into this game. Hope the secondary steps up. Eager to see some of these guys on the defensive line and the linebacker step up as well. So, but honestly, going into this game, I'm more focused on the offense. I need to see these changes on the offense happen. I need to see this ball spread around. Kendrick Law, we mentioned Kendrick Law all year. I mean, he only had 3 touches maybe this past week, and it seemed like the first two touches he had like 20 yards. Yeah,
I mean, 3 to 4 touches. Like, I want to see King off this game. I want to see Jerm more in this game. I want to see Cole Adams and Emmanuel Henderson.
Man,
those two kids have worked their tails off. Cole Adams and E-Man have worked their tails off. And then I want to see Caleb Odom. At 6'5", you got to get that man the ball.
That pass, the interception that Milroe threw on 2nd and 4, when he threw that pass to Ryan Will, I said, why are you throwing that pass to somebody who's 6 feet, 175 soaking wet? And the pass wasn't placed well. He didn't loft it up. He just threw a bullet, and it was an interception. You throw that to somebody who's 6'5", like Caleb Odom. You just throw it up there and let him go get it. But
is there anything to Odom being a little frustrated right now and liking posts?
I mean, there's a lot to that, guys. Because listen,
we like Coke Adams too, Cat. We Coke Adams, Cole Adams. We like them all. So anybody Adams.
No, I'm just saying, like, going back to Caleb Odom, this is a young man that a lot of people were concerned would hit the portal when Saban first retired.
Right.
Caleb Odom says, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm remaining here. This is a Caleb Odom who, in the Rose Bowl practice to face Michigan last year, was tearing DBs up in Rose Bowl prep. And Michigan was very fortunate that Caleb couldn't play in that game because he was tearing DBs up in bowl prep. All through spring ball, all through summer ball, all through fall camp, Caleb Odom's name kept being mentioned. Yeah. Coach Shep pulls Caleb Odom aside and personally tells him, you're not playing tight end. I know you came here as a tight end, but you're not playing tight end. I want you to be a receiver, and you're going to have an impact this year. Shep told this man this. And to have him out there against Tennessee, and he has a chance to score a touchdown, and Milroe doesn't throw in his direction, Odom is frustrated. He's very frustrated. So,
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And to have this fixed, you got to spread the ball around.
Yes.
But once again, that also goes back to the proper play calling. From Sharon, you've got to spread that ball around, and you've got to not only put Milroe in spots to be successful, but you got to put the players around him in those same situations to go out there and excel. I don't know what the first half against Georgia, Sheridan was amazing. That first quarter against Georgia. I don't know what has happened since that first quarter.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree anymore. The first team against Georgia, I mean, the first couple of passes were each to like a different receiver, running games. We threw in some trick plays. We looked flawless, but just kind of been the exact opposite. And as we mentioned earlier, Ryan Williams this past Saturday, 20 targets. He had 8 receptions, 20 targets. I have no idea why we have one receiver getting that many targets and nobody else can touch the ball. And again, to Steven's point, we just want to see the ball spread around. We mentioned a whole bunch of offensive players, a whole bunch of offensive weapons. All these guys need to touch the ball.
The problem is, it looks like it's our game plan and it's not working. So we love Ryan Williams, but you can't afford. We have a lot of talent at wide receiver, so we love Ryan Williams, but you can't throw it to him every time. All right, Steve, we're gonna let you go. I know you said you need to leave around this time. This is the last one I wanted you to kind of address here. Lean on the run game this week against Mizzou.
Yep.
I'm a passing guy, and even I was excited about the running backs coming into this year. So I would love to see this happen.
I'm gonna say this. You are going to have to run the football on Mizzou. Why? Mizzou's got an explosive offense. you got to keep Luther Burton III and Theo Wise on that sideline as much as possible. You have got to run the football this week. And you've got to mix up in different ways, not just run the football. You've got to run some screens. You got to run some slants. You got to run. You got to make some play action.
Run those screens to Kendrick Law.
Yeah,
give those screens to Kendrick Law. Please.
Some slants, some play action. You got to run some different stuff. And then if you feel like, okay, our offensive line, primarily the tackles, are where we need to be. You got Robbie Oots who loves to block. Have him help. Put him where Elijah Pritchett is. Put him where Caden Proctor is. And have Robbie Oots help those guys out. If you got to use 6 to 7 man protection, use what you got to use.
Agree. Agree.
I agree.
So that's that Madden playbook.
Hey,
Stephen M, man, we know you got some family stuff to get to, man. Did you have any final thoughts? Anything you wanted to leave on or tell everybody? You said you're gonna get after him tomorrow, right?
Look, man. Tomorrow I'm running these coaches interviews, man. I'm gonna be in here with these assistant coaches bright and early in the morning. They probably ain't gonna want to see me, but I'm gonna be in the room regardless. This is gonna be good tomorrow. I'm gonna be at this game Saturday with Don in the chair. So Don and I will be at the game Saturday. So
we're winning. We're winning.
So we win Saturday. We'll be at the game Saturday. We will be sitting front row, and the first time a bad play is done, Don and I will be taking the headset. So
there you go. I'm with it.
Before you go, we need a quick score prediction. Score prediction for Saturday.
Okay. Here we go here. Score prediction for Saturday. I think Bama bounces back here. I got 31-17. I think the second half, Bama starts getting back to that all attention to detail. I got 31-17.
I like it.
Awesome.
I like it.
We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Stephen, man. We will catch up with you later for sure.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And ET, first I want to say thank you, man. I don't know if we saw your name in there before. Yeah. I wasn't trying to speed by, but we knew we had to get Stephen M out of here.
Stephen M, I'm sorry.
Stephen M. And then he said good point about that. So I was just trying to get to your point, man. Appreciate you being on there. Good to see you.
Let me see. I'm sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt you. This question, Randy. I guess this is a question. I'm sorry that might have been catered towards Stephen M. I don't know of anybody else on our end that'll be on Portal Watch, but we're going to lose some guys. We already know that's going to happen. That's just the new age in college football. There's going to be some guys at the end of the season that are frustrated with playing time. They're going to want to go elsewhere, and then we're going to get some more transfers in. So it's unfortunately, this is just something that we're going to expect all year, throughout as far as college football is concerned. So,
but to his last point there, the new reality, the bigger teams, they lose 20 people. I mean, a year. That's just it. People always focus on it, but you're also talking about the teams that have usually a top 5, top 10 recruiting class. And that's why, like the Georgias, the Alabamas, like we're not taking as many transfers back in, is because they're usually not, they're like, okay, our recruiting class will have to make up for that stuff. So, but yes, will Georgia lose 20? Yeah. Will Alabama use 20? Yeah, easily. So. And man, I'm glad to see that, man. We appreciate you joining in with us.
Please let everybody else know about the channel, man. So just help us out if you can. We appreciate that. But yeah, to your point, Georgia's going to lose. We're going to lose. But it's all about maintaining your core, who you got on this team this year that's going to come back next season. So that's what I'm really focused on, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Garrett, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, Ray, thank you for joining us.
Showing up after the Texas game. I tried to get him to do a video prediction, but he was not in the mood before then. So, and speaking of what, Stephen M, thank him for joining us. What is it? Next week we've got Bama Beat on to talk through the bye, and then the week after that we've got Daily Joy to talk about
LSU Bama.
So,
looking forward to it.
We can't look forward to that one yet because we just have to survive the weekend. So did you have anything else you wanted to talk about with Tennessee, Roger? Did you want to look around the conference and stuff?
Like I said, excuse me, prior to Tennessee, I think for the South Carolina game, a lot of people were talking about Womack. Well, actually the Vanderbilt and South Carolina game, a lot of people put the blame on Womack and the defense. I get it. I was happy to see the defense improve this past weekend against Tennessee. It made me happy. Unfortunately, we couldn't counter on some of the turnovers we got. We couldn't convert those to points. But it was good to see that the defense had some intensity this past weekend. Now I'm looking for this weekend. I am looking for the offense to kind of flip the script and do some of the things that we all just talked about the past half hour, and to kind of put us some points on the board. So.
Yep. And this is Randy is big on the algorithm, and he has been teaching us or trying to teach us. We're not always good students, we'll be honest. But he is. So that's why I like to say that's why I wanted to go back to ET's comment, man. Like I said, I'd love to have new viewers and everything, man. So we definitely appreciate it. Yeah, Randy, thank you for your work.
Yeah, we appreciate it
behind the scenes, trying to help us out with that. So that's an interesting one. I thought is he not a junior?
I'm actually checking now. Anyway? Anybody in the chat, let us know if Keon Sabb's eligibility. His age doesn't matter. He's 22. He's a redshirt sophomore, so he's still got some more years of eligibility left. It would be interesting to see if he stays here. We would love to have the experience back. Would definitely help us out, but he's got a season left, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and it goes back to the earlier point we're talking about. You just have no idea anymore. Yep. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? There's legal or illegal tampering already going on. So okay. So
and I mean with the injury, it's kind of like we probably won't see him again this season until if I had to guess, I would say maybe the OU game around that time with the pretty much a broken foot type injury. And then you play a few games after that. Hopefully, we make it to the playoff, of course, and he can make his face shown. And I mean, what if he has a good season to finish off the season? He says that's it. He wants to go to the draft or whatever. So it's up to him.
Yep.
I would love to have him back, Kat, to answer your question. I'd love to have him back. Yep. It's all about experience in the backfield. So I mean, as far as secondary, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, I was with you. I'm sitting there nodding my head like, yeah, that's right. Looking around, Raj, we mentioned the Missouri game. Brady Cook gets knocked out. He does come back. They have a gritty win against Auburn, so that was a big one from this past weekend. Kind of just looking through scores. Miami survives again. Go ahead.
Yeah, before Brady Cook got knocked out, I mean, that wasn't a really interesting game. It was just very, very uneventful. Not much. I was just turning to it because it was another game on. He came back. He led the team to victory. They didn't really put up a lot of points. But then again, with the way Bama's been playing, I don't want to. I'm not judging anybody else. I have no idea what's going to happen Saturday because of the.
That's why when the question was, "Are you nervous about blah blah blah?" Like, no, I'm just nervous because I'm nervous. Like this team does not give you a lot of confidence. So the only game I'm not nervous about is Mercer. Everybody else, like, there's
I'll admit I'm not nervous about Mercer. That's one that if we lose that game, this podcast will just be terminated. I'll let you know that right now.
Basketball.
We got basketball.
We'll go straight basketball.
We're ranked number 2 in the nation preseason for basketball. So hey,
we may have a cool game. Okay, I'll definitely be. Oh well, I'll be on the air, I guess. So I'll miss the guest, but I will. Yeah. I'll definitely have to catch that one. And we actually we picked that game on our
we did,
and that'll be released Friday.
And that's going to have obviously playoff implications because both of those teams have one loss now, but obviously there'll be a 2-loss team there. So that's going to be a good game.
Nope. See, I'm going to this team just is scary. So
yeah.
All right, kind of looking back at the rest of the scores. I'm trying to remember what else I was watching. Oh, obviously. You got to give Randy some love.
Yes, kudos.
Herb and Kat both picked Georgia. Now, Mike might have to remind me because I can't remember his.
I did. I picked Texas to win. I could admit that.
I know you did.
Texas by a touchdown. Obviously, I was wrong. Kudos to Georgia. They played a heck of a game. Their defense looked extremely suffocating. It looked like one of our old Bama defenses that we had in years past. Defense looked good.
Mike, I'm looking, and I'm looking past Mercer. Sorry, but I am.
Carson, I guess offensively, Carson Beck still seems like he's having a few struggles here and there, but yeah, that Georgia defense just took care of Texas. Ran all over that offensive line, that almighty Texas offensive line that we've been hearing about all year. They made him look like a JV team.
I didn't know that part of it, but it's kind of like the prediction we had before the season with Georgia. I was like, I just still feel like they're going to be a great defensive team and the offense will come along. My question, and maybe Randy will put that in the chat or maybe he'll answer it tomorrow. And Randy, if it's something you're going to answer at a later time, you can tease that and we'll send people to you. But are Carson Beck's struggles right now the offense and not having playmakers, or is it on him? Or thirdly, is it play calling? But I feel like it wasn't play calling because I guess I've heard a lot of people kind of call out they didn't think that. But that's that's my question about Beck, especially for a guy who we're thinking could be a first, one of the first quarterbacks taken off and Heisman Trophy candidate. So it was a very good welcome. I was happy to see it. I didn't want Texas to go undefeated, and I didn't want them to win the whole thing. So
we didn't think Herb and I didn't think any SEC team would go undefeated this year. Texas obviously every SEC team pretty much has a loss now. So and keep in mind, Texas still has to play at A&M later on in the year. That could be a tricky game for them. Texas A&M would love.
That game is getting bigger by the moment.
Yep. It is, especially if A&M wins this Saturday. If they can beat LSU and go into that game maybe with one loss, of course I have to look at A&M's schedule again. But if they can go into that Texas game with just one loss, that'd be huge.
Yep. And were we opposite on that game, or did we end up with? You don't have to say who we picked, but Texas A&M and LSU.
We were opposites. We were opposites because that was one of my anti-picks.
Ah, okay. So we'd have to check. Yes. No, it wasn't.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was one of our. Okay, that was our third one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There's Texas A&M, Rod, if you wanted to look at the rest of what they got going on.
Yeah, so they're 6-1 now. So they beat now. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry, I didn't realize they play South Carolina. That could be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game. Not sure about New Mexico State. Auburn, it is in Auburn. It is in Jordan-Hare. I have no idea if Auburn will look any better than they do now. They have so many. And Carlton, I saw you join us. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, shoot. I forgot to say, hey, what's up to Carlton? My bad.
What's up, C? I just saw it. Carlton's my best friend. Just saw him. He was actually here in Texas this past weekend. Got to see him. Got to hang out. We talked about Auburn a little bit. He just shook his head. He was like, we just need so much help. It's ridiculous. He's like, the season's, it is what it is. Anyway, back to A&M schedule. Yeah. So the LSU, the South Carolina, and obviously the Texas game. Those are going to be three tough ones. And I do see them dropping one, maybe if two of those, but that game, November 30th after Thanksgiving, when they play that's going to be a huge game.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
All right, what am I missing right now? It's for my love for LSU, but A&M needs a loss. Yep.
They'll lose another game.
Yep. But LSU hasn't lost a conference game yet, right?
Who did they lost to? Was it USC?
USC at the beginning of the year, right?
The game? Yeah, I think it was game 1, right?
Yeah, they all get. But I'm saying they haven't lost an SEC game, right?
No. They don't have any conference losses. So, we can see. We'll see what happens Saturday. Then obviously we play them. I think A&M, Alabama were the two toughest ones. At Florida, I mean, Lagway is going to have to go a long way to give them that victory.
So, what'd you say? Sorry, I was starting to read.
Lagway is going to have to go a long way to get them that victory when they play.
I hope everyone is tuning into our college football picks so that these dad jokes make a little more sense and get a little bit more reaction.
I got to work on it. I got to keep sharp on my dad jokes, man. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are pretty horrible.
Yep. So this is an interesting one. Thank you, Randy, for answering that, because I know it's frustrating when you have to answer. I mean, so to be fair, I've been calling out Milroe all week. So when your quarterback is playing bad, you have to be able to say it. It's not like sorry, this is a tangent into somebody else. The one thing I hate is when I say, hey, Milroe's playing bad. It's like, oh, so you just want Ty Simpson? I was like,
no, we don't. But we're calling out our leader. Yeah, he's playing bad.
We're just calling out our leader. So I think that's what it is. They're the face of the thing. On Beck, not a lack of playmakers, not play calling. And see, I knew the play calling part because I'd heard that one several times. Consistent runners are part of it, potentially. Yeah, I expected a lot more from them. That's why I'm surprised. But the defense, I think, has definitely flexed its muscle. And they're a tie to. Yeah, so that's what I thought. So at the beginning of the year, Randy said something that's like, it looks like everybody thinks they're all going 10-2. And I was like, the schedules are so weird to where people miss just enough people to where you could have. I think CBS Sports had in their preview for the season, they had like 5 SEC teams at 10-2 at the end of the year, which could still very easily happen. So
it could easily happen. And for Alabama, it was.
I'm taking notes.
It was playing not for the dad jokes, I guess. Yeah, we appreciate that, ET. for Alabama, the reason we picked 10-2 is because we realized it's the first-year head coach, and we have to play in Knoxville and at Death Valley. Those are going to be huge games, and not to mention we had to host Georgia. So out of those 3, it's like we're going to drop 2. Obviously, there was one we missed that the whole world missed, but I forgot.
I don't remember that. I don't remember which game you're talking about.
I don't remember that game. Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway, if we win out regular season wise, we will meet Herb and Rogers' predictions, and we will be 10-2. We'll probably miss the SEC championship game unless some craziness happens, and then we sneak in as one of those
at large.
Obviously not the top 4, but we'll see. We'll sneak in. So fine with me.
Yeah. It's about resetting expectations. I said 10-2. Yeah. We beat Georgia. Everybody was like undefeated. I was like, there's just no way.
No, we still got a long way.
And then you lose 2 games in the state of Tennessee, and now everybody's like, oh, the team's trash, fire everybody. I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
He said they bounced back. Yeah. But I thought that about Beck coming into the season. I just thought he was a leader, and I figure like they'll get it done when it's time to get it done. So I think the only thing we disagreed, I thought the defense would always be ahead to start off the year. So, all right, we're going to transition a little bit into this next week, look at a couple of the games, Raj. But something that I seem managed to forget every single week, and this man puts a lot of time and effort to it. Everybody's favorite part of the show, which sometimes I leave it till later because a lot of people just tune out as soon as we play it. But let's get our fun fact of the week.
Fun fact.
What's up, everybody? It's Big Mike back again with another edition of Bama Opponents Fun Fact. This week's opponent, the Missouri Tigers. Anyone who visits Memorial Stadium in Columbia, Missouri will immediately notice the large Block M, or Rock M as it's known, guarding the north end zone. At 95 foot high and 90 feet wide, the monument was formed in 1927 when 600 students moved 300 tons of rocks left over from the original construction of the stadium. Even now, almost a century later, incoming freshmen gather every year to repaint the rocks to keep it fresh, and outgoing seniors pick a rock from the hill to keep after their final home game. And that's this week's Bama Opponents Fun Fact. Roll Tide, everybody.
Thank you, Big Mike. We appreciate it.
Kudos.
So we always like to...
Really irrelevant comment that I want to make right now. I want to apologize to Indiana University. I did not know you guys had a really good football team this year. I think they're ranked, 13th in the nation, like 7-0. They look good. They're hosting Washington this Saturday. It looks like they're going to be 8-0 after this season. So kudos to the University of Indiana and the football team.
And that's Raj, I was right there with you until we started started picking a couple of them. And the fact that we didn't pick this game this week makes it look like, they're just going to run all over them, I guess. So definitely shout out to them, man. The basketball schools are making a come up in football. So we talked about a little bit on our pick show, but do you want to kind of recap what you said? Bama versus Mizzou coming up. Wait, hold up. First,
as far as just
Mike, we appreciate the series, man.
We appreciate it.
Was it Kat that kind of gave you the push to go ahead and do that? So both of y'all,
we love it.
Teams, half of the Apple Pool, so that's it.
Oh yeah.
He said, I don't know what show is going to do this week. He don't give a rip about Bama or Mizzou. Tune in to see outside for a tease. Talking about Joe, of course. So Joe always picks against Bama. I would just say this, Randy. If he doesn't pick against us, I would be very disappointed, especially after that video he made for the special because he wasn't on it. I would be disappointed.
I have a feeling Joe's going to pick Bama to beat Missouri, though. I do have that feeling. But when we go to LSU, I know he's going to pick LSU. I get that. Yeah. I think Joe's going to pick. I got to see this. Yeah. Joe, don't let me down.
All right, go ahead, Raj. Initial thoughts on Bama versus Mizzou.
A lot of my thoughts are on the offense. We need to see drastic changes from the offense that we all highlighted earlier in the show. Stephen M. highlighted as well. That ball has to be moved around. It doesn't make sense for Ryan Williams to have that many targets. It was very, very frustrating to watch because when a receiver has that many targets, it seems like Milroe just stopped going through his progressions. And just was looking for Ryan Williams. We have many.
And can you say this, Raj? Yeah. You're not saying anything wrong with Ryan Williams.
Absolutely not. One of the best receivers in the country. Yeah, if he's open, I have no problem. I want him to get the ball. I can't wait to have him for 2 more years. But we got Kendrick Law, Cole Adams, Kobe Prentice. We've got guys out there. Caleb Odom. We mentioned several names. Jeremy Bernard, of course. These guys all need to touch the football. We look, especially our running backs too. How can I forget about our running backs? We look more like an offensive threat when more people are touching the ball. But when you're going to the same person, we become extremely predictable, which we looked like against Tennessee. So my eyes will be on the offense this weekend. Of course, I hope our defense plays as good as they did last week. I think this is a really, really big bounce back game for Alabama, and this is going to be the final game where we actually show the rest of Bama Nation, like, are we for real this year, or are we just going to sit here and get bullied the rest of the year?
Mm-hmm. Yep, okay. Because a lot of this stuff, especially, it's funny. It's not like some of these direct hits. It's the off-target throws that put him in an awkward situation too. That I worry about.
You stretch out to catch the ball, and you take a hit to the. He's 6 feet 175. Ryan Williams is not a big guy. He's Devontae Smith type size, and maybe over the next few years he puts on a few extra pounds, but he's not going to get up to like 200 pounds or nothing like that. So yeah, that's another thing. I don't want him taking too many hits. So give it to some of these other guys too.
All right, other stuff you might be watching for the Friday night folks. Boise State and UNLV. That's an interesting one. For Friday.
Hey, don't forget Notre Dame Navy, I think, on Saturday. 2 ranked teams there. Navy's playing excellent football. Notre Dame has bounced back since their loss to Northern Illinois.
Raj and I disagreed on our picks for that game, so you'll have to choose. We usually post out our college football picks on Friday. You'll have to check that out. Thank you for our regulars for sure, too, for that one. But that was one of our disagreements, interestingly enough.
It was.
One of us picked one team and the other person hated America. So you'll have to tune in to see that one. So
there's another sneaky game in there at 3:15. Texas does play at Vanderbilt.
Yes.
I know a lot of people think Texas is going to demolish them. I will be paying. That will probably be a game on my phone.
Agreed, Kat. It's crazy.
TV, so
right.
I will be paying attention to Texas Vanderbilt. That could be interesting.
And I have it on good authority. Somebody picked Vandy.
I believe you. I trust you. And I would love to know who that person is. Can you disclose names? Or
I can't. I can give you 2 guesses.
Never mind.
What's up, Bo? How you doing, man? Good to see you. So we'll check us out in the morning. A lot of stuff to talk about in the morning on the Wednesday wrap up. So that should be fun in the morning. So yeah, I won't be surprised either, Kat. So like I said, somebody has picked both of the lesser teams of both those matchups we just talked about. So what's your night game, Raj? What are you watching at night? Do you remember
LSU A&M?
Florida State Miami used to be like
we
were going to be excited for that, right?
I looked at that game. I said prior to the season, you're like, oh man, I can't wait to that game. Now you're like, Miami is going to absolutely demolish them. Florida State's offense, they just lost to Duke last week. Miami is that's gonna be a slaughter.
Correct, Vandy. Vandy is not Vandy. Yep.
Yeah, the night game, of course, it's the LSU A&M game. That's the game I'll be watching.
Yep. True. Yeah. And Auburn at Kentucky, that game is gonna be ugly. Like 10-7 ugly. So
I don't even think that game was that game one of our college picks?
No, because
I don't think it was.
So people who if you watch our college picks, Mike tries to pick games with tight lines, but if he knows we're both gonna pick somebody, he just avoids that. And we weren't picking Auburn. I picked Auburn to win one game this year. Mike tried to warn me. They lost to Cal. We have a saying on the show: friends don't let friends pick Auburn. He quoted it to me. I still picked them. They lost. That was it. So I'm picking. I probably picked Mercer to beat Auburn at this point. So
Yep.
It wasn't on our list. And then your nightcap will be Cincinnati at Colorado, another game that we picked. So
I'll probably pay attention to that one.
Yep. So Saturday is cool. I'm supposed to be at a family function, so we'll see.
All right, but I know you're gonna be watching on your phone, even if you're not at the house. So
basically,
not to mention the NBA starts today. So King James.
Yeah, Rogers had a little foofara about the NBA starting this year and LeBron starting.
Nice one.
I do have a couple things to fill out the end here, Raj. We're gonna give you 3 top 5s to end the show.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
Your first one, because you just mentioned it. All right. Top 5 NBA teams for this year.
It just says who I think is going to be good, like the top 5.
You can do it 2 ways, Raj. You can either pick top 5 you think best, or which one might be more fun, top 5 teams that you will enjoy watching this year. And that way you can put your Lakers in. They're clearly not
I'll do top 5 teams that I enjoy
because we know that LeBron's too old. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll do top 5 teams that I'll enjoy watching. One's going to be Lakers, LeBron. Dalton Connect is going to be a big reason. Come on, you can pay attention to that one.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, Dalton Connect. Yeah,
Dalton Connect. How much playing time he gets, and how he's probably going to come off the bench. I'm assuming, but I think he can really help out this Lakers team. I was going to mention Bronny. I mean, I don't know how much playing time he gets, but
personally, I'm waiting for him to throw his first turnover, and LeBron has to put him over his knee and give him a spanking. Like that will be the only time I'll be watching Lakers this year. All right, so Lakers number 1.
Lakers, very funny. I would say Philly with once Paul George gets healthy. That
neither one of them is playing in the first game.
I know. But hey, it is what it is. Minnesota, I like Anthony Edwards. I became a big Anthony Edwards fan over the past few seasons. I like him. I like the direction he's headed in. I think he's the future of the league. Dallas will be interesting to watch with Klay Thompson. He didn't have a good preseason. I think there was one game he was like 0 for 9. Kyrie and Luka are still going to lead the team, but it'll be interesting to see if he gets acclimated with that offense. No, not on Golden State. No. OKC is always a fun watch. Young team, good core. I like the way they look, and we'll see what Ja can do this year for Memphis. There's a couple teams out there that I probably could have mentioned, but it'll be interesting to see those guys. Charlotte, okay. Yeah, but Big Mike mentioned Charlotte. Obviously, Brandon Miller had a really good rookie season. LaMelo should be back and healthy, so looking forward to seeing the Hornets as well.
Sticking with that, top 5 players you're looking forward to watching this year. You mentioned them a little bit in there. We already know LeBron is 1, so who's 2, 3, 4, 5?
2, LeBron. Okay. I say LeBron, Anthony Edwards, Brandon. I'm going to say Brandon Miller. I know he's young, but I love watching Brandon Miller. A healthy Zion Williamson. I haven't really paid too much attention to him in the offseason. Ja is entertaining to watch. I have no understanding of why he tries to dunk on everybody every single time he goes up, but he is entertaining to watch. That's 5, isn't it? Let me see. I got
LeBron, Zion, Ja, and who was the 5th? And Brandon Miller. Okay.
Brandon Miller. Yep.
Okay. And then top 5 college football teams in particular order.
I'm going to go with Georgia at number 1 because that was a huge win this past week, and they looked good. That's going to change over the next few weeks. We'll see what happens.
I agree with
Oregon number 2. I go with maybe Ohio State at number 3. They do have that loss, but that was a close game to Oregon. I guess Texas around number 4. Number 5, I can throw Penn State in there only because they're undefeated, but Penn State will lose a game in these next upcoming weeks.
Here's a hilarious thing in the top 5. Penn State is undefeated, and there is 3 teams with 1 loss ahead of them in your rankings.
That's why
I'm not arguing with it. I'm not arguing with it either,
exactly.
though. So
I'm going off the eye test, not just like record. I'm going off the eye test.
Yeah.
The question for Georgia going forward is Georgia going to play like this the rest? Like, are they going to play this good on defense and offense the rest of the season? So, I mean, this past weekend was mainly the defense, but it'll be interesting to see how they carry on.
Yep. Let's catch up real quick with these. Get you one last question, and we'll let you get out of here, Raj.
All right.
Vandy kicking folks like Vandy. Yep. I still don't understand the Georgia State thing. They would have been top 25 if not for that. Playing early, we get some trick or treating on Saturday. Oh, is that this Saturday? Well, we won't be here.
Well, I thought that was next weekend. Well, depends on what you're doing. Yeah,
it's like it's like Thursday, right?
Yeah,
technically. So I guess it depends on when your neighborhood decides to do it. A lot of them do them early.
That's
Sonics, yeah. I know, man. That's still can't believe they took that team. Like that's a team I grew up with, and to not be there anymore. So
Sean Kemp was the man.
Yep. And Gary Payton. Yep.
Sean Kemp.
Now you posted this at Charlotte, so
yeah.
Bronny will lead the Lakers to a championship. Man,
no, we're not winning the championship.
Yeah.
I would love to see it, but it ain't going to happen.
I've seen the pictures, Kat.
What happened? What happened with Zion? What's going on?
A little more slimmed down, I think, is what she's talking about.
Okay.
So yeah,
right.
And he's another good one. Wemby, this season is going to be interesting because of what they're expected from him, but his team's also not expected to compete. So it's going to be interesting as far as that goes. All right, Rod, your last question. And of course, you gave me the fodder for it. right? So maybe the in season, yeah. Lakers won the in season last year and just took the rest of the year off.
Oh, very funny, Bo. I'm just playing.
All right, work, play, live, ditch.
Okay.
You know, you gave me the people for it.
Oh God.
Ja.
Okay.
Zion, LeBron, Ant.
I'm ditching Ja. He gets in trouble too much. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Ja needs to put his phone down. If we're hanging out, no, I'm not even taking my chances with Ja. Peace out, Ja. So I got LeBron, Zion, and
that was so fast. And this is Zion, the slim and more cut Zion. Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Okay. My neighbor is probably gonna be Zion.
That's why he's getting bitch.
I have Zion as my neighbor. He's still kind of young. We can chop it up, watch a few games.
Even for this reason, though, Raj?
Stay away from Zion. He's getting the crazy. Like, hey, I'm married, so that's a good reason to say, hey, Zion, what you doing over there? I'm just playing. Hey, I do this for entertainment.
Man.
I do this for entertainment.
Okay. What up, Joe? How you doing, buddy? We said some good stuff about you
Joe,
earlier,
what's going on, Joe?
Zion's a neighbor.
I'm going to work with LeBron. His work ethic was unmatched. It's unparalleled. I'm going to work with it. And Ant-Man's still.
What are you going to do? He has to take his old man nap in the middle of work shift, though.
All right. So for Raj from the Herman Raj Pack, very funny. Very funny.
So you and Ant are going out?
Me and Ant are hanging out.
Yep. All right, Raj.
I mean, if me and LeBron hang out as like a 43-year-old and like LeBron will be 40 in a couple months, what are we gonna do?
Chill at the house like Kevin Hart in that commercial. That's what y'all will do.
Exactly.
You're about as short as Kevin Hart too, so that would work out great. So, all right, we appreciate everybody. Thank y'all for the Joe. Just give us a like and make sure you keep picking against Bama, and the love will be returned.
Joe, you need to pick Bama to win this weekend. No picking against Bama this weekend.
Nope. Appreciate you, Kat. Appreciate you, Kat. And I don't know if you saw, I got my fufara in at very end there. So appreciate everybody. Like we said, the next couple of shows are planned out. Bama Beat's going to join us in the bye week. He usually joins us. We give out some grades for how the team is going to that point and look forward to the rest of the year. Then Daily Joy will be joining us to talk LSU before that week. Man, Stephen M., we appreciate you making time out. That man is working overtime.
Yes.
So we definitely appreciate him making some time out and even having to make the family wait for a minute. So everybody in the comment section, we love you. We appreciate you. The show is so much better for having you guys on it. So
Raj, any final words? Everybody. Nope. Just looking forward to this weekend. Looking forward to the bounce back against Missouri.
Yep. Check out our Bama vs. the World Missouri edition. That one got a little testy, so that one should be fun. And our college football picks. We had 3 disagreements this week, including in the Notre Dame Navy game and the Texas Vandy game. So you'll definitely have to check it out to see who picked why. So for Herman Raj Podcast, we appreciate y'all. Everyone have a wonderful and blessed night. And as always, roll Tide.